Hi, good evening. This is Romesh, Editor-in-Chief, SightsInPlus, the moderator for this webinar today. And I would like to welcome all of you to join us and be the part of this engaging webinar. I would like to introduce the panelist joining us, Mr. Shaakun Khanna. He's a renowned name in HR tech domain. Shaakun is Senior Advisor and Head Leadership and HR Transformation at SHRM, and Mr. Manish Chum is founder of workploww.ai, and Manish is also the facilitator for our two-day certification course that is Applied AI in Human Resources. So, Sakun, before we start the webinar, before we kick off the question answers, I would like to set a context with the data, and one data is by the SHRM itself. And according to this data, in 2025, 43% organizations are using the AI in human resources, and this number was 26% last year. So this is almost double the uses of AI now. And if we share another data, so according to Boston Consulting, the generative AI can increase the productivity of HR professionals by 30%. So based on this data, I would like to start the conversation. How do you see the adoption of AI? Before we take this question, also I'd like to share one survey which we run on the WhatsApp group, which has around the 50,000 members, and we asked the question here that how AI ready is your HR function. So around 116 people they have responded on this question, and 29 people said that it is fully aligned. 50 people said it is a partially aligned, and 14 people said it is an experimental or pilot stage, and 23 people said it is yet not started. So overall, the picture is around either it is a partially aligned or at the pilot stage, at the experimental stage. So at this note, I would like to know how do you see the adoption of AI, overall adoption of AI in India currently?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this very interesting conversation. And Romesh, thanks for setting that context up. It's interesting because you say that from last year, use of generative AI in HR applications has almost doubled. Of course, one might say it is just 43% companies, but it's a big number actually. Because when we look at the sample size of our research, it comes from different sectors, and sectors play a very important role in the HR maturity and therefore the application of AI. Now, interestingly, to your question, where are we as a country in the use of AI in HR? I think we, like any other thing, we have a very wide brand. There are companies which are actually leading cutting edge innovations and perhaps the best use of AI. And later on, Manish can also talk about that. The most innovative and best use of AI are happening in this country. And at the same time, there are companies which are still not in basics of HR analytics. So we are there. Uh, in terms of the usage, maximum amount of usage of AI is actually happening in the recruitment space. So if you look at talent acquisition space, that's the early adopter of AI. There are some very innovative use cases of AI in just about every aspect of job recruitments and onboarding. Whether it is this data, Rangarajan, what we are talking about is India data. There is a India specific AI research that we did at SHRM. I led that research, and we'll be happy to share a copy through Romesh and team for you. All this is India specific data. So the largest use of AI is happening in recruitment space. In fact, about 63% companies of those which are using AI are using it in the recruitment space. Whether it is employer branding, talent marketing, candidate identification, even interviewing and assessments, onboarding, just about everywhere generative AI and AI are finding its role. And it's not just generative AI, even agentic AI is finding its usage, which we will perhaps not talk about today. Vijay, it's a discussion today. We are not necessarily presenting any slides, but if you want, we will be, as I said, happy to share a copy of the report.
You can share the copy of report in chat box, so whoever is interested, they can go through this. If there
Fair
is any
enough.
link.
So when Manish starts speaking, I will then
Yeah, sure, sure,
put
sure,
it there.
sure, sure.
The second important usage of AI or maximum usage of AI is happening in the performance management space. And third place is for learning and development, and I can talk more as we go along. But those are the three things that I thought it is important for everybody to that India is leading in terms of innovative usage of generative AI in HR. These three functions are the early adopters.
So, excellent, Sakun. Sakun, there is a one question in chat box, and this question is on the AI accuracy. Does AI provide the accurate results? What is your take on this?
AI is very, very accurate in terms of analyzing the data and giving interpretations out of the data. However, the accuracy of data in itself can be questioned. Remember, AI, specifically generative AI, is very prone to biases built in. It could be algorithmic biases and data biases. So, if your algorithm is incorrect or your data is biased, then obviously those biases will creep in into the decisions or insights that AI is generating. But if those two things are right, AI is becoming better and better every day, and it is absolutely possible to get very accurate data. In fact, in some of the traditional industries where AI usage is very high, for example, aviation, life and death depends on accuracy of AI. So the answer is yes, of course.
So, as we're talking about the accuracy part, so I think as Sakun very beautifully answered this question, that data is the challenge for the organization because this AI works on the data. So, if you don't have the correct data, so obviously your results are not going to be perfect. So, if you want the perfect results, you need to have the good data. That is very important.
Romesh, in the meantime, there is another question which says, is there any AI use in terms of compliances, for example, labor laws? Would you like to comment on this?
Shakul, if you want, you can respond on this question about the compliance and labor laws.
Yeah, so I think it's a very good question. There is extensive use of AI in compliances. In fact, one of the biggest and most safe use of AI is in compliances. It is not just about labor laws, but actually from a securities protocol perspective, you can use AI. So, for example, some of the labor laws do not allow certain kind of people to work in say shifts or work in conditions which may be restricted. So all that can be now ring fenced using AI. It could be ring fenced using biometrics, for example. One of the typical things we find from a safety perspective, these cab drivers, for example, they keep on driving for 20 hours, 24 hours at a stretch, and not only endangering their own lives, but the lives of the passengers as well. So AI can very well be used to track it, and they can just be debarred. An Uber can just stop the car because the driver they know is driving for a long, long time. Similarly, whether it is attendance, whether it is payroll, any kind of other compliances, benefits, all those can be automated very, very simply and easily using AI.
Coming to you, Manish, so as I said, and Shakun also highlighted the data that only 43% of organizations are using AI in human resources, but this is just double if you compare with the last year. And as Shakun said, that mostly the AI in HR right now, what is in use, that is in recruitment, that is in talent acquisition, and next, that is L&D part. How do you see, what is your take on this? How do you see the adoption of AI in currently in India and in next 1 or 2 years? How do you see what would be the major job functions? Where do you see the uses of AI that will evolve?
All right. So, to your question, Ramesh, I think wherever we will have a very predictable and rich data pipelines, wherever there are areas which can be very clearly defined as a process outcome, I think that's a typical fertile ground for AI to merge, right? And when we say, let's say, compliances, as Shakun was mentioning, any data about compliance in terms of the regulatory requirements, in terms of what are those statutory definitions, is pretty much readily available, right? And this is very much rule-based work, right? Which means that it's a checklist-driven kind of a thing, and whatever the execution has to happen can be defined as a rule, right? So again, we see a very fertile ground for that. Again, in talent acquisition, it is essentially a pattern matching, for a particular skill of candidate with the job description, or job description with a particular requirement of a role, or a candidate with particular skill sets, or with the assessment scores, right? So that is why there is a lot of proliferation of AI. And when we say AI, it means generative AI, agentic AI, and machine learning, all three of them. Now, again, what I always believe is that any area which requires, to start with, less of a context, high data pipelines, and very clearly articulated rules will see a very high proliferation of AI. Another area is background verification checks, right? I mean, it's a very fertile ground of agentic AI, because again, not much context required. It is rule-based kind of an action which needs to be done in that data analysis. Again, there is a data there which can be done. Of course, data analytics through machine learning is a different ball game altogether. But there are very, very interesting use cases in generative AI as far as data analytics is concerned.
So another question is regarding the any tool recommendation. So generally we avoid to recommend any tool at this platform. There are various tools, but generally we avoid. So may not prefer money. What is your thought on this?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I always tell to HR professionals and our learners that, don't get fixated with the tools, kind of FOMO, which is there right now. Look at what is that, what you are looking at to execute. Are you looking to do a data analysis? Are you want to do brainstorming, research? Now, first understand what is that you want to try to achieve, and then trust me, you will find n number of tools to execute that, and every tool will have its own unique features. And let me also tell you that the tools, trust me, I've been using AI for quite a long time. Tools which were there about at least about a year back don't even exist right now, right? So the whole tool business of AI itself is going through a lot of churn because of monetization, user base, and so on and so forth. Of course, there are a lot of tools which are available, but as Romesh said, we don't specify a standard tool for a standard work processes, because there's always a better tool and there's always a different way of executing the process.
Right. And another, I think there is a similar question talking about the industrial relation and discrepancy. Disciplinary proceedings, domestic inquiry, that is rule based. So we have discussed, I think, about the compliances and all, and definitely AI is helping in this. Manish, coming to our earlier point that now the most of the use cases in HR that we see in talent acquisition, recruitment, and L&D. How do you see from today to next 1 year or 2 year? How do you see it is going to evolve the HR process with the use of AI in other processes? How do you see the uses of AI in HR?
Sure. So I think one very interesting thing is coming in that, right now we are still figuring it out. What are the, or we are, or the area of use case exploration is still happening. I think as we move forward, these use cases, which are extremely repetitive in nature, which can give you some enormous productivity gains, organization will start embedding them in their workflows, right? So you're not dependent on a particular tool, or the AI will sit on in the workflow, and that is what we typically call as invisible AI, right? Which means that it is so embedded that you're not even able to see it, and the process is getting executed, right? So I think that is one. So even if whatever HRMS platform you are using, whatever the third-party softwares or whatever the applications you're using it, AI will sit within them, and it will take some time because of aggregation, because of integration, and so on and so forth. But I think that is the first thing which will happen. The second thing is the whole area of intelligence which is coming out of this whole embedment of AI in the workflows. It will start creating another set of skill sets which will be required in the HR professionals, and they will be required to scale up themselves significantly, because a lot of your standard work procedures will be taken over by AI, and you will have to really amp up the game in terms of decision quality, in terms of how to use that data to achieve the business outcomes. So I think that capability building aspect of HR is another important area. I always say that a lot of things which we are doing right now is a pre-AI era, right? A lot of things will get redefined. Once AI starts getting embedded in the workflows, a lot of processes will be merged. There will be a lot of different ways of doing things completely, right? So a lot of process engineering would start happening. So capability of HR folks, process reengineering, and invisible AI, as I see, these are the few things which we'll see in the next couple of years very, very effectively coming out for the HR function.
Right, Manish. So, coming back to you, Shakun. So, as you said, that most of the uses what you see as of right now, so that is in talent acquisition or L&D part. But when we talk about the talent acquisition, generally people see that is creating the JD, maybe matching the CVs. So, how do you see automating these process? Apart from this, what is the uses of AI in talent acquisition part?
Well, there are many. What you have said are obviously the two most frequently used, but it starts with searching the right candidates. So there are AI applications which can now act as crawlers. Look at LinkedIn and not only match people with JD, but find the right kind of people. So imagine an application where you can specify that I am looking for an XYZ person who has perhaps worked in a startup which has come up with an IPO, and the person is in, say, Bay Area, for example. Now, this kind of a very specific search can be done using AI, and not only for active candidates or in a database, but across the web. So that's one piece. So how do you find the right people? The other interesting use case of generative AI in talent acquisition comes in engaging those candidates, because finding them is one thing and assessing them is the second thing. But what is most important is that how do you keep them engaged during the journey? So again, there are very interesting use cases and applications available that you can use to engage in a multi-platform and a multi-channel way the candidates. Then comes the whole aspect of onboarding. Today, using AI, VR, AR, the onboarding experience has become far, far, far more seamless and far more engaging for the candidates. Those are others. Then the whole aspect of analytics. Look, whenever we are talking about usage of AI, remember that AI can do only three things. AI can do analytics, AI can do augmentation, and AI can do automation. So analytics, we all know, in case of recruitment, there could be various kind of analytics that you can do and draw a lot of insights. Augmentation would be something like you mentioned, writing of JDs, for example, it is augmenting human capabilities. And then it is the automation of the whole workflows. Uh, so anything and everything that you talk about in the realm of AI would actually fall in either of these buckets, which is analytics, automation, or augmentation. So huge use cases. In fact, there are about 62 steps involved in a typical recruitment cycle, and almost 55 of those will find some or the other use case of AI.
I think very beautifully you have explained it is what the AI can do. That is analytics, that is augmentation and automation. So very beautifully you have explained this. When it's coming to you now, as we have also designed this program for the two-day certification course. So would you like to share how it is working for the 2 day? What are the basically what we offer? Just let
So
me share the screen
yeah,
so that
so
that would be helpful for
correct,
you.
correct. So while Romesh is flipping the screens, a couple of points which I would like to share with all the participants here. So when we designed this course, we were very clear in one aspect that we will not talk generic things in this course. We will really create a learning experience which will create an impact on the day-to-day workings of the HR professionals, because we very firmly believe that if you are not using any technology which you can use it on your daily workflow level, we may not be using the technology at a very optimal level. So the construct of this whole learning experience is one, to understand more about this technology, what this technology is, what are the different terminologies. A lot of people interchangeably use data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and it is very important that HR professionals also start learning about more about technology, right? Like what are neural networks, what is deep learning, what are LLMs, what are tokens, what is temperature. So, those are the few things which we demystify. So that's the first section, right? So completely demystify the AI tech terms so that the general fluency about AI increases and people become more aware of this technology, right? That's the first fundamental part. The second part is once we've understood this technology, once we have understood the terms, we understand about different tools, right? Now these tools are it can be simple AI based chatbots like your ChatGPT or your Claude or your Gemini, or certain very specific tools which do certain specific work, like with regard to data analytics, right, with regard to image creation, with regard to using voice, right, videos, right, so on and so forth. So that is the second stuff what we do, how to chunk content, how to condense content, how to repurpose content, right? So that's the second very important fundamental part what we do, what we help our participants learn. Then the as I mentioned, that then we go into the specific domain specific use cases, right? And when we say domain specific, it means hire to retire processes. So first we double down on talent acquisition. So what are those use cases which we can solve using AI? Now the scope of this AI are the generative AI use cases. Agentic AI is something which is much more evolved and depends heavily on the organization context. So we make it so simple for an individual user that even if their organizations don't have any kind of a particular AI platform, they themselves can start using AI for their day-to-day work, let's say in talent acquisition. Then vertical by vertical, we move ahead, from talent acquisition to talent engagement, talent development. A big part is HR analytics, which includes all the three part of it, right? What is descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. And there we see almost like magic happening, right? So and we always tell people that this skill sets requires which is about how to use AI in HR. It also requires people to upskill themselves on certain concepts like statistics, right? So you cannot do HR analytics unless you are aware of fundamental concepts about statistics as well, right? And then we also touch upon topics with regard to ethics, especially in context of HR, which deals with people sensibilities. Then we also discuss on a couple of very interesting points through our consulting work, what we do, that these days a lot of business leaders have started asking HR professionals about, like, how to embed AI, or how to handle the AI aspects in the people environment. So we also share some of the frameworks which HR business partners, different role holders in HR can use to engage their business stakeholders in conversations around AI, right? So, and of course, we concluded with what should be an ideal path for an HR professional to follow to upskill oneself on this AI journey, right? So it has three steps. Understand AI, learn using AI, and build with AI, right? So that these are the three steps of what we do. So all in all, the key learning objective, for all the participants here, we want you to lead the agenda with AI. We want you to use AI. We want you to build with AI, and the whole course objective is to exactly give you all those skill sets, so that at the end of it, you are no longer just a spectator of the conversations around AI, but you know the nuts and bolts of it, and you are now reimagining your workflows, reimagining your work by AI technology and the tools.
So fantastically, I think you have explained about this. And if any person who is not having any big background of the AI, if that person is joining the course, this 2-day course, then after today's session, how effective that would be for that person? Will that person be able to use the AI applications for the talent acquisition, for the talent development, for engagement, for analytics part, Manish?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think there's a very important question which is being asked by a lot of people, not only in this webinar, in our courses also, that are we going to cover free tools or paid tools, right? So I think this is one very fundamental question. People say that, okay, how can I use AI if my organization doesn't have any AI tool, right? Now so how do we solve this problem, right? So let me answer the first question. Now, there is nothing called paid tool or a free tool, guys, right? Tool is a tool. Depending on your usage, you have to pay extra, right? So if you are your usage of is just mail creation, simple content creation, you can live with unpaid version of ChatGPT forever. Now, if you start using more and more, and you need faster speed, faster access, or more wider access to models on different tools, you will have to shell some money out, and those are subscription plans. And again, we don't promote any specific tools through these sessions, but again, you'll have to invest onto that. Number one. Number two, there's always a difference in the speed, the way organization adopts new technology vis-a-vis individuals adopt new technologies, right? So we do have quite a few learners whose organization don't have AI or any of the AI tools, but how they do it is we create use cases, we help learners to work on synthetic data, we create that data for them, and then helping them to prepare themselves for using of the AI tools, right? So we create those lot of caselets to practice, we give those real time data sets for people to experiment, so that they are not left behind this AI adoption journey if the organizations are taking a bit more time to adopt AI. So I thought to clarify this, Romesh, very importantly, because a lot of people feel that, look, my organization doesn't have an AI, so why I need to do it, or how will I be able to use it on a continuous basis?
We have discussed the AI use cases in talent acquisition. Now, coming to another some of the areas in HR, that is the talent engagement and talent development. So, how AI is going to
Yeah.
helpful in these
Look,
two areas we can
I'll tell you,
use.
Romesh, when we talk about, see, today, because of generative AI specifically and agentic AI, using AI has become much more easier. And as you guys are talking about your course as well, everybody and anybody can learn it. So therefore it is not restricted to earlier what used to happen, companies would develop a tool and launch it and only then you can use it, but now you day today you can develop your own tools. So therefore, wherever you see a possibility of using analytics, augmentation, or automation, AI can automatically come in. So today, even in very non-traditional areas of HR where technology was not that used, say for example, if I talk about well-being, employee well-being or engagement, there a lot of AI and technology is being used. In fact, a lot of organizations are
We are having the tech
using.
companies now.
Yeah, there are so many of them, right? So that is happening. And while I'm speaking, there is a very interesting question that what is the difference between generative AI and augmented AI? And I'm sure when you attend the session that Manish does, you'll get to know more about it. But essentially, look at it this way: generative AI can generate things and tell you certain things, but augment this agentic AI can actually do things for you. So it is like, if I say that plan a trip for me to Goa, generative AI will plan the trip and give it to you. but agentic AI can actually book the tickets for you, book the hotels for you, and do that work. So for now, I will just uh, leave it there. That is agentic AI. And the reason I deviated is because when you are asking me what all can be seen as use cases in HR, agentic AI can do certain things. Generative AI can generate a lot of things. So we are seeing a lot of use cases in learning and development from a content generation perspective. We are seeing a lot of use cases in let us say, as I said, well-being, in helping people overcome challenges of mental health, physical well-being, financial health, and so on and so forth. Uh, and there are so many others. A lot of it is also automating the process of data analytics. So whether the data analytics is around say compensation and benefits, you can create agents or bots yourself today, that can do all sorts of not only analytics but can generate great insights. So it is just about everywhere you will find some form of the other or the other of AI getting in.
Yeah, so Manish, coming to you now. So I think PMS is one of the things that many participants have asked the question about the PMS, how we are going to use the AI in PMS. And the last session as well, we have seen some of the questions regarding the PMS. So how it is going to be helpful in PMS if you look for.
Sure. So again, performance management is a very interesting category, right? And very interestingly, this has a direct impact on the organization, right? Because it's all about performance of people, which contributes to the organization performance. So let's start with the goal setting process, right? Now, when we talk about goal setting process, what should be the ideal goals? What are the overlaps? How the goals are aligned? What should be actually the right set of goals basis the previous history of the goals. So is something which all this AI can bring a lot of intelligence to it. All right. Now, just to give a case example, when we say generative AI, it means that it will give you a output in either a text or a voice or a video, right? Or a speech, okay, or an image. Now, these are basically any of the AI what we are using right now is basically our prediction machines, right? So whatever the words you are typing in ChatGPT and whatever the answer it is giving it to you, it is basis some prediction, basis what it understands about what you want to ask. Okay, so you can use this capability of a machine to extrapolate a lot of things, right? So for example, in goal setting, how you can craft smarter goals, right? How you can create alignments across the board, right? How much is the degree of overlaps between the goals? What is the redundancy? And again, how you can make it smarter. So that is one very important piece. And if this piece is settled well, right, your performance management system, half of things is taken care of. The second element, Ramesh, is the quality of the conversations, right? Now, when we talk about quality of the conversations, it means, of course, what are the different, kind of conversations which are happening, which are specific to the goals, is the first and primary thing. Second, managers play a huge role in, creating an impact on the quality of the conversations with their people, right? So, how that conversation is going, you can assess the quality of the conversations. You can derive what are the inputs you need to bake in your capability development programs for managers so that they can handle the performance conversations better. You can do a ton of analysis on the commentary of people, what the feedback comments they write, right? So that's the power of generative AI, and you can use it either to build your capability programs effective, or you can use it to give direct coaching to the people managers, right? And all these use cases we cover in this program. And the third one is, of course, the end part of it, which goes into the rewards and the recognition part of it, which is again, a lot of simulations, a lot of sensitivity analysis, a lot of data analytics. You can do it, right? So for example, if you have a particular payroll budget, and if you are building multiple scenarios of long-term incentive plan for high performers, for X percentage hike of payroll, you want to bring in talent equation into it. So all this, thing can be baked into a particular model. And through this course, we actually help people to know, to understand how they can build it, right? So these are some of the impact what AI can drive onto it. But it is interesting to note that whatever the HR systems are existing these days, AI is getting built into all these three or four subsections of it.
So Manish, one there's more data I'd like to share here. So we also run a survey on the question that how familiar are you with the AI tools in HR? So there are four options: very familiar, somewhat familiar, and heard of them, and another is not familiar at all. So very familiar, nine votes are in favor of very familiar, 12 people saying somewhat familiar, and seven are saying heard of them, and not familiar, 12. So 12 is a big number if you compare with others. So still people are not familiar with the AI tools. This is also one of the reality they are exploring. And as we were talking about in last session with the Harjeet, that if you want to ride the bike. So first you have to buy the bike, then learn how to ride the bike. So that is the perfect answer. So first you need to learn
Yeah.
about the AI, then what are the tools, then how you will apply. So this is, and as we started the discussion with the 46% organizations that have started the use of AI means does not that these all the companies are fully aligned right now. Might be they have just started the uses of AI, maybe partially these companies are aligned. So coming to now another use cases. So that is from hire to retire, as we have discussed. I think for the every HR functions, the AI can be used, and we can use the AI for all the HR process, all the HR functions.
So, right now we are experiencing AI in two formats, especially in HR, right? One, if in the organization, whatever is the, enterprise structure, right? So, whatever the HRMS system you have it, right? Your HRMS system would have baked in certain AI element into it, be it your generative AI or be it your agentic AI. So, for example, next time if you are doing a goal setting, if you how does that AI look like? So for example, in your HRMS, if you're doing a goal setting, AI will actually tell you that, okay, this employee in the last quarter or the last year or in the last 2 years have picked up these goals, and these are the areas where these goals can be optimized, right? So those intelligence can be given, or the AI can pretty much analyze different KPIs of a similar role across the organization and can give a very, very intelligent options to effectively, design the goals. So that is one way to do it, right? So the typical example is your Microsoft Copilot, right? Wherein your AI or a chatbot is sitting right in your documents, right? So this is one way people experience. The other way is that you refer to certain retail outlet, kind of AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and so on and so forth. And then you use them, right? Now that can be through either an APIs, or you pretty much get a enterprise license of using it, right? Or the third way is pretty much you don't have either of these two things. You do it in your personal capacity by paying some money to these tools, and then you start using it. So these are some of the ways we are experiencing these AIs. But trust me, right now we are in the lingo of tools, but as the system matures, you will see invisible AI. You won't even know which tool you are using of AI tool you are using. It is so baked in into your day-to-day process. Pretty much you will forget about what these tools are, right? But it will take some time to reach at that space, right? So I thought I'll just put things in context, Ramesh, for the audience out there.
Yeah, Shabu, so there is one more question. I think we should also cover that. Data security is also a concern when we're talking about the AI. So now in India, we do have also the law for the data protection. So how it is being taken care of? This is also one of the concern.
Look, I will tell you, it is not as much about data security as it is about data stupidity. And I'll tell you why I'm using this word. Most of us, when we use generative AI tools, let's say when we use a chat GPT. Now, a chat GPT has massive issues when it comes to data security unless and until you exercise your data right to protect your data, which means that you go and do the right kind of settings in the system so that your data is not made public, they can't use it and all. What we do typically is that when we start using these tools, and that's where the free version and the premium versions also come in, we just put our data up there, and without being careful about it. I think today the world has become such that as far as tools, technologies, and companies are concerned, they are very, very immaculate in terms of making sure that the data is well protected, their interest is well protected, but at the same time, they have full ownership and access to the data. Unless and until you stop them from doing that. And of course, there are settings that you will use. So data is as safe as you would make it, or the data is as unsafe as you would do it. So remember, now data is like your house, right? You leave it open, thieves will come and do the damage. But it is, the onus is on individuals. I think right from basic applications today to very advanced models, everybody gives the user the right to protect the data. uh, yeah, so that is what I will say, that onus now is on us individuals, in the users, to protect our data. Systems are all very, very good.
Shakun, there's one question specifically with you that maybe please brief with the more details about the authentic AI.
Content of
Asking about the authentic AI. Authentic AI,
authentic AI.
authentic.
Maybe
I
the
think
person
this is
is
a new
asking about
term,
agentic AI. I
Agentic
don't
AI,
know what
yeah.
but
I don't know
he's
what is
writing
authentic
authentic
AI.
AI. Might be agentic he's
You
talking
see,
about.
AI cannot be authentic because ultimately
Yeah.
AI is AI. It's not authentic, right? It's AI generated. It's unauthentic, right? So maybe you are asking Mohammed about agentic AI. Uh, so I know about agentic AI a little bit, and Manish, you can add in. Agentic AI, as I said earlier, and Manish also alluded, is a form of AI that can actually act like an agent and do things on your behalf. So, for example, imagine you have a virtual assistant who could book your flights, who could block your calendars, who can perhaps make an appointment with the doctor, and not only give you that information, but actually do those things for you. And therefore, it becomes an agent. So, that's the form of AI which is called as agentic AI.
Yeah.
Manish, is there a way
So,
you would like to
yeah,
explain that?
yeah. So you see, we have been doing automation for so many years. And how the automation works, you have to initiate few things, you have to click here and there, and then you process something, you look at, you scan it, you validate it, and you say, okay. So let's look at the booking the airline ticket, right? You go search for your time range, your budget, and then you click onto it, you book it, and everything is right. You download the PDF, right? Now, in this automation process, just add the intelligence of a human brain, which means that something which can go on its own and do on your behalf, right? That's why the word called agent, right? Now, whatever an agent has to do on your behalf, it also comes in different shapes and sizes. So some agents can be autonomous, which can act on your behalf without even asking you. So they literally take away your decision capability as well, and they will execute things on your behalf. There are some agents which are task-based agents, which will do only to a limited extent. There are multiple agents environment as well. That for example, if you are learning, there will be one agent which will scrap the data for you. There will be one agent which will convert that data into a content. There will be one agent which will help you in understanding it. So there can be a multiple agent scenario as well. So agentic AI itself is a vast subject, but in simple way to understand, whatever you are have outsourced to technology from an automation perspective, or you are using automation to make it more productive, add a human brain to it or have an intelligence layer onto it. So that's an agentic AI part of it. It's as simple as that, right? So the other thing is that on the data security part, guys, my submission is AI is a technology which feeds on data. any AI, how do you define artificial intelligence? Something which mimics a human brain, right? And we are dependent on AI, or we are using AI basically to predict things, right? So earliest form of AI is machine learning. Machine learning was built on data. Generative AI is built on entire internet data. Agentic AI is built on the data access what you give it to them, right? So AI cannot work without data. So if you are in the space of using AI, you have work on data. Now you cannot say that, okay, I won't give a data, or and but I still want to use AI. If you want to use AI, you will have to work on the data exchange. But where it is required is put a credible and predictable guardrails, right? So it is better to use AI in the enterprise structure. So if your organization has a Copilot license, if your organization has a Gemini license, it is an enterprise license structure, then it is very safe to use it, right? Or if you have read the entire terminologies and the policies of the tools, there are some tools which says that we will not use your data to learn ourselves, right? So that is one format of it, right? Other one is that there are a lot of GDPRs, certifications which tools have to get from the GDPR authority, right, which is a data authority. There are some tools which says that whatever data you will upload, we will auto delete it after 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, right? So you will have to go into details of these data usages with different tools. But I want to tell you very frankly, in the era of AI feeds on data. AI is essentially what we are asking. AI is the data itself, right? So data is the currency, but it is important to understand those nuances of data, how to use it, when to use it, when not to use it.
Yeah, true, Manish. Manish, we are also at the end of time right now, very close to, I think, 5 or 6 minutes left now. So, Manish, prompt is also very important. I think whatever the tool you are using, that may be ChatGPT, that may be Perplexity, or any of the tool you are using, prompt plays very important role. So, what would be your guidance in the prompt part?
Oh yes. So I think prompt is, and that is another very fundamental aspect which we cover in the course, Romesh. So there is a way to interact with the intelligence what you find in all these tools, right? So treat all these tools or AI tools as a 5-year-old kid, right? Now with children, we speak their language to get the responses the way we want, right? So at times, if children are crying, we don't start shouting, right? We also try to imitate that kind of a behavior and get the right response. So prompting is exactly like that, right? You There are ways in which you can engineer a better response, for to do what, to get the maximum intelligence out of these tools, right? So if you write a simple way, okay, let's say what is 2 into 3, right? You will say 2 into 3 is 6, right? But there are ways in which you can break down this 2 into 3 into 6 steps, right? And you won't believe it that, okay, the simple method can be broken down into 6 steps, right? So if you are dealing with any design work in learning, if you are doing any HR analytics, if you know how to make these AI tools break down a simple thing into multiple concepts, or sub steps, your understanding of the subjects will really enhance. So that is what we call prompt. There are multiple ways, one shot, few shot, tree of thought, chain of thought. These are different prompts which you can use it, to actually get the best response, from these tools. And why do we need to learn prompt? Because we have to become, just to get the right output, and we fasten the journey of intelligence which are we getting from this tools. So it's a very important subject, and we are into this space. We are into product development as well. If you are serious about really getting the right output, trust me, writing prompts is very exhausting process, right? Because if you have to write a good prompt, you yourself need to know a lot more about the problem statement what you're trying to solve. And we are not habitual to do that, right? We just move to getting the solution out of the chat gpt or any system, and we don't think too much about the how to craft a problem statement. So that is where people find it at times tough. But the true idea of prompt engineering is to get the best output in the least number of attempts.
And that would need to practice.
Yeah, for that you need to give practice, and we prepare a lot of, and I think that's the one uniqueness about this course, Romesh, that it is this course is about HR professionals, for HR professionals, by HR professionals. So we have hyper contextualized all these tools to the HR use cases.
Shakun, I think we have been trying to cover the use cases in HR, and we have been tried to discuss about the talent acquisition, talent development, talent engagement, and almost all the use cases we tried to cover. Anything else which is important and we did not touch, you would like to share?
No, I think I will just reiterate what you mentioned and then Manish detailed. It's all about prompting. Gone are those days. So if coding was important for software development earlier, prompting is exceptionally relevant and most important for HR professionals specifically if they have to survive the AI age. Because if you ask me, what is that one skill that I need to learn to be able to navigate the world of AI and leverage it to my advantage, that is prompting. In fact, it is so critical and important that there are engines available who will do prompting for you. But in order to get the right prompt from the right engine, you still need basic prompting and understanding of that. So everybody one must invest in that. That is very critical. The other piece is that I think it is time for HR professionals to take technology in their hands. Earlier, what used to happen, we had IT departments or teams or vendors where we would go as HR professionals, send us our request. We will say that we want A, and what will come out will be XYZ. So once you learn the right kind of prompting and you are aware of the various tools and technologies available out there, it is a very empowering time and environment that we are living in, because every HR professional can actually now start developing applications, start developing, as I said, start doing analytics, augmentation, or automation themselves. So just do it. Otherwise, you'll just become redundant.
Yeah. No, I think that's a perfect note for the closure, Ramesh. Take control of the technology, and it's very empowering. It's very liberating, and you can be a creator of your own things. You can pretty much automate with a lot of low code, no code kind of things. You can create websites, and through this course we try to help our learners to get that. And the lines between tech and non-tech is getting blurred, right? So who's programmer right now, we don't know. Everybody's a programmer technically, in that sense. So yeah, absolutely, that's a fantastic point.
I think last question is the can I use the can AI helpful in training and development? I think we have discussed about this program, the use case in training and development, and indeed we have discussed about this. So thank you so much, Shakun and Manish, for joining us and sharing your wonderful thoughts. I would like to also thanks all the attendees for joining and raising your questions here. Hope we have been able to answer all your queries. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good day.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ramesh. Thanks, Shakum.